It's not looking good. So last Friday, it was revealed that Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond were stepping down. Phil Spencer was the CEO of Xbox, and Sarah was the president, the second in command. He claims that he was retiring, but conflicting reports have come out and said that Xbox just allowed him to look like he was gracefully stepping down. Really, they fired him, but they allowed him to make it look like it. As for Sarah, she kind of just got tossed to the wayside. And a report came out from The Verge, and one of the most interesting things about it, the main thing I see a lot of people tweeting is, in that report, former Xbox president Sarah Bond is reportedly tough to work with. As Xbox undergoes a massive shakeup, which, by the way, Xbox has a new CEO. Her name is Asha Sharma. We'll talk about it in a little bit. With executives Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond both stepping down from their positions, a new report has claimed that the former Xbox president was actually very difficult to work with. According to a February 23rd report from The Verge, current and former Xbox employees were relieved to hear of Bond's departure. Sources reportedly told The Verge that Bond had been tough to work with, as she allegedly created a work environment where if you didn't follow the vision or questioned it, you were out. Translation: corporate America is going to the classic play, angry black person. As the de facto mastermind behind Xbox's controversial This Is an Xbox campaign, in which Microsoft made its point to suggest that anything and everything could play Xbox games, The Verge claimed that Bond's strategies had been failing internally and been questioned multiple times. She also wasn't much of a gamer in the way that Spencer was, with that facet of her public persona supposedly being manufactured solely for appearances. Say anti-black as fuck. We've heard this story before. I'm just gonna read the article and then I'm gonna share my opinion. Despite these issues, sources still praise Bond for her work at Xbox, particularly when it came to her strengths in inking deals with companies and developers. So she was a great networker. As for her part, she said in her announcement memo, now is the right time to step down. While Bond's departure may feel sudden, it apparently wasn't that surprising to the current and former employees The Verge spoke to. They explained they saw the writing on the wall since last year, especially since her direct reports had changed so frequently. It's worth noting, though, that Bond is a black woman in the tech industry. Maybe she did foster a toxic work environment, but the discourse around her departure does highlight the disparity in how we talk about our career versus Spencer's. Not liking someone or finding someone difficult to work with is very common, and while it's certainly possible she was cutthroat in her approach, she is also a woman of color at an executive level in an often white male-dominated field. That matters, not as a dismissal of her behavior, but as a recognition of the working games and tech and industry they still need to do. I'm gonna call a cap on all this bullshit. Let me go ahead and preface this by saying I'm not saying that Sarah Bond was perfect. She didn't make any type of mistakes from an executive level. But this is a classic play, and any black person who's ever worked in corporate America knows what the fuck they're talking about, what I'm talking about. They love to make you seem like you angry and bitter and just mean to everybody because you did something that they didn't like. And I find this very disappointing, this article coming out, because it takes away from the actual problem. Remember, over the past couple weeks, I've been talking about, I covered it in two different versions. I was talking about with High Guard, people were saying it failed because some people, not everybody, some people were saying it failed because it was a live service game. And I said, that's cap. The top 5 best-selling games of the last 5 years have been live service games. The top 20 games on Steam right now are live service games. When you make bullshit-ass disingenuous arguments, it takes away from being able to pinpoint the actual problem, which is the quality of the game. Then I covered an article last week about this dude that was covering the new God of War 2D game, and he was saying it failed because it was a shadow drop game. Apex Legends shadow dropped, and it's still successful to this day, whether you like it or not. So shadow dropping games is not the problem. The problem was the quality of the fucking game. When you make articles like this, talking about they were, unless you can give a specific example, where it was like, yo, Sarah Bond was choking niggas out at the Xbox, and I got pictures. I got red marks on my neck. Unless you got some actual proof, this is classic corporate America. Make the black person look angry. And the unfortunate thing about this, it takes away from the actual conversation, and that's what the fuck Phil Spencer did. Because he's the main one to blame. That's why I put out a tweet. That's why I put out, well, world-renowned content creator, the Black Hokage, put out a tweet where he said, not sure I believe this one. So you're telling me internally the people at Xbox were upset Sarah improved and marketed their cloud service? Because that's the accusations, right? They didn't like the whole this is an Xbox thing, right? But they were okay with Phil giving away exclusives to PlayStation and PC, buying up all those studios just to fire them. They were okay with that. But they were upset by the cloud gaming. I gotta call cap on this story, bruh. Bullshit. I gotta call cap on. There's no way for me to prove this, but I gotta call bullshit on this. Cause like even last week I had said, we all knew that Sarah was the president, but I wasn't 100%. Somebody went as far as in the comments to say that I was being biased. And I was like, I don't even know what the fuck Sarah did. As far as I knew, she was just second in command to Phil and she was supporting him. And from the reports, that kind of seems to be the true story. The only thing she was actually in control of was the marketing. So if her main thing that she did at Xbox, because she was only second in command, was she improved the cloud service and did a marketing campaign saying this is an Xbox, this is an Xbox. I find that to be kind of weird. That pissed everybody off, but not you giving away Halo to the PlayStation? I gotta call cap, bruh. There's some racial undertones here, and this is one of those ones where you either get it or you fucking don't. Because a certain demographic is gonna deny this shit, bruh. And I called it, and I know the best part about this is when I tweeted this out, a lot of y'all responded to this tweet, and some of y'all did in the comments right now while I'm streaming, saying, I called this shit a year ago. I called it a year ago. They were gonna throw her under the bus and blame her. And let me tell you why I was able to predict that they were gonna throw her under the bus. Xbox has been going downhill for the last 5 years, really 10 since the Xbox One. But they've been going downhill. So I found it a little strange that they were propping her up more, putting her on, like before she would only appear like a little bit here and there. They started putting her more on the camera during, what was it, like during the Xbox Directs, the little showcases. She got a promotion. Normally, if you do a bad job, you don't get a promotion. Now it's her fault. Interesting. So I want to reiterate once again, I am not saying that she's perfect. There might actually be some truth to this. The problem is this shit is hearsay. There's no way to prove it, and it takes away from the actual fucking problem. Now, if we bring up some fucking evidence and we find out she was wringing niggas by the neck at the fucking studio, we gonna call that bullshit out. But this is gossip, dog. This is gossip that they honestly always do in corporate America to people of color. To the point where you don't even feel, chatty patty shit. To the point where you don't even feel comfortable speaking up for yourself because HR ain't your friend either. Yeah, it's semantics. It feels like a hit piece to take away from the actual problem, and it was Phil. And to be fair to Phil, I think when Phil first came on as the CEO, he was doing a good job. But I think what happened is he got a little bit out of touch. He got out of touch. I think he put the cart before the horse. He was buying up all those studios. I think maybe they should have just, instead of buying Activision and Bethesda back to back, I think they should have bought one, focused on putting out a few bangers, recouping that money. But instead they kept buying all these studios. Now you're billions of dollars in the hole, and now you're in a rush to recoup that money versus slowly doing everything. I just felt like he took on too much at once, and I felt like the nail in the coffin was giving the exclusives away. Even if those exclusives such as Halo, Forza, Gears of War were kind of played out, it still was the Xbox brand, and the moment you gave away those exclusives, Xbox lost its identity. Its identity became the Game Pass. And the problem with the Game Pass being its identity is it had only been the identity for a very short period of time. Because keep in mind, when the Game Pass first came out, it was kind of mid. It was just kind of okay. But Game Pass really started to hit its stride over the last 2 or 3 years. And as soon as it started to gain good PR, you got Ethos as the Game Pass bishop. They jacked up the price. So something had been the foundation of your identity for like the last 20 plus years. You changed it to the Game Pass, and before you could build a solid foundation, because I guarantee you, if they didn't jack up those prices for another 5 to 10 years on the Game Pass, I think people would have been more receptive to it. You just started to get it. It was a shaky foundation. You switched to Game Pass being your identity, and before it could solidify itself and really get in the good graces of gamers, you kicked the fucking stool. And now you have no identity. You have no exclusives, an expensive ass Game Pass. If you still like Game Pass, cool. If you feel like it's still valuable, cool. But for some people, that $30 a month is too much, especially in this economy. And to bring everything full circle, when you put articles out like this, because it feels like a fucking hit piece, it takes away from the actual conversation, which is that the Xbox has no identity. They got beat by their own greed. They got too greedy. They started acquiring all these studios. They had mounted way too much overhead before they were starting to see any type of profit. That's what the conversation should be about. Instead, my whole timeline this morning on Twitter is talking about, oh, Sarah Bond was just fucking Cruella DeVille in the workplace, and this is chatty patty shit. There's no proof of this shit, bruh. So I gotta, this is most of the time, you know, I'm the numbers guy, but I'm one of the few content creators who worked in corporate America before I went full time. I'm old, guys. I'm fucking old. I know what the fuck this is. And to be fair, not only did I work corporate America before I was popping on this content creator shit, I was in corporate America during the G4 shit. I was one of few people of color in that building. And you can feel that shit. You got to be careful how you say things, because you could be being direct. Because this is usually what it is. Usually in Black culture, Black American culture, keeping it real is a thing for us. And we tend to be a little bit more blunt and forward in the way that we say things. And because other cultures are not like that, they perceive that for you to be angry Black person. It's a cultural issue. So I would bet a paycheck she was not what they say in this fucking article. She was probably just very direct and forward. And then we gotta also, oh yeah, we're gonna go there too. We gonna fucking go there. Hold up. We also gotta take into consideration, not only was she Black, she was a woman in a white dominated male space. So not only do they gotta take orders from a nigga, they gotta take orders from a woman nigga too. Yeah, y'all don't want to talk. This is one of the things you can't prove, but you know it's a thing. You know it's a fucking thing, bruh. You know it. I gotta call cap on this whole fucking story. Most people won't say this shit. I say it. I'm calling cap. And unfortunately, to bring it back full circle, it takes away from the actual problem, which is the quality of the product. The quality of, we went from last week, because look, here, and this is before I even move on. Y'all don't find it funny that on Friday, Phil and Sarah got fired, and they had the PR was terrible. It was fucking, they were getting flamed to hell and back. And then it didn't make it better that the new CEO, Asha, she got exposed for being a fraud gamer. She talking about AI slop and shit. The PR was a disaster last week. So you don't think it's coincidental that on Friday it was a PR disaster and on Monday there's a hit piece out? Come on, be for real. Where's the critical thinking? They said we gotta shift the narrative on some Trump shit. We gotta get them, we gotta point a finger somewhere. That's what the fuck this shit is, bro. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, man. I hope that eventually motherfuckers can get back to talking about the actual issues with Xbox. We've all heard these stories before, sadly, or experienced them, bro. The PR's in the toilet. I'd argue this is even worse PR. Maybe not for some people, but then there's other people. Because I'm gonna tell y'all another thing too. I ain't gonna show you, but I looked at like an hour ago, I looked at this tweet. You know how if you go on Twitter, you can look at who liked your tweet? A lot of Black people in the gaming industry liked my tweet. I said, oh, so I'm not the only one that clocked this shit then. I said, interesting. But motherfuckers can't say nothing because then you get, luckily, I ain't no game dev or no shit like that. They gonna get labeled as the angry black person, but I noticed a lot of my black industry friends was liking that shit. I said, yeah, you don't want to get yourself blackballed by actually speaking what's actually the fuck the problem is, bruh. So that's my take on this. I think this is all unfortunate. Bring back the public likes. Yo, shout out to Dr. Phil with the super chat. My bad that I'm missing everybody. Shout out to John Space Cowboy with the super chat. He said, mind you, Matt Booty's still there. He deserves the blame also. Matt Booty was also there too. Blame them all is what I said. I just think it's really weird that the conversation is shifted away from fucking Phil, who had the majority of the control. Shout out to Jamie with the sub. Appreciate it. Matt Booty failing upwards. He's failing upwards. That being said, the bad PR has not stopped. While the hit piece came out today, the throw him under the bus hit piece, more news has came out about Xbox's new CEO, and it's not looking good. So not only have they pulled her card and said that she's not a gamer, this is fucking petty. I'm not gonna lie, this is funny. But they pulled up her Xbox profile. They said she don't play no fucking games, bruh. Last played 20 days ago, 17 days. Well, she played Forza 17 hours ago. Playing Halo Infinite, but she got 5 friends. Like they said, she don't really be on a game like that, bruh. They pulled up her shit. Not only did they pull her card and say that she don't be on the game like that, so they don't know if they can trust her to lead Xbox into the next generation. Now there are accusations she might be a little weird. The new head of Xbox is worried about birth rates, but says AI will save us. After the shock resignation of Phil Spencer and Sarah from Xbox last week, the gaming world has attempted to piece together exactly what will happen next to Microsoft's gaming brand, especially after the autopsies of the new leader, Asha Sharma. Why has someone with a background in AI and not gaming been at the helm? And wait, she said, what about birth rates and AI? Big Tech's obsession with birth rate figures is something that should certainly make you feel uncomfortable, given it's usually about a half a step removed from the matters far more sinister. Specifically, I think they were hinting towards the Great Replacement theory. If you don't know what that is, let me make sure I say this correctly. Not all white people, but there are some white people in the United States that believe in something called the Great Replacement theory. Or they could just be talking about birth rates as a whole, because in certain nations, but I think that's what they're hinting to. They believe that birth rates are too low for white people. They need to get out there and have more babies. That's why some people in Trump's cabinet are really pushing that shit. Which is funny in itself, because I feel like if you really believe in that bullshit, if you're a white man listening to this and you believe in the Great Replacement theory, you should ask yourself, why are your women? Because your women did not stop fucking. I'm not into white women. I don't play in the snow. But your women did not stop fucking. So you do have to start asking, why'd they stop fucking you? Just some food for thought. Because there's no data on it, but from the eye test, there has been over the last 10 years a rise in Aidens, Jalen's. Yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about. There has been a rise. So at what point do you take a step back and say, maybe I'm the problem? Anyways, which is why it's so disappointing to hear Asha Sharma in an interview on a podcast from 5 months ago saying the thing she thinks about the most, other than the GPUs, is whether her son will have classmates in the future. This is because she says fertility rates are declining. The average birth rate in the 90s, when we were growing up, was like 3, and now it's 2.3. And in 2050, it's estimated to be below the replacement. Interesting word choice, especially because Kash Patel, we know he wants to be white. Interesting word choice. This is strange on its own, and it's also completely wrong, but her next words make it far weirder. I think that AI can have such a big effect on it, and it already is. What? Sharma goes on to give examples of this, like how she's heard about in a hospital in London that using AI to improve to see you in Valhalla, using AI to improve the fertility success rate of IVs. Heard this amazing story of how ChatGPT-5 is helping in healthcare, and how Stanford was a big customer of hers using AI for tumor reviews. Yeah, all right, bro. Niggas don't even got healthcare. We don't get what the fuck you talking about. Of course, the reason for the declining birth rate in the U.S. is multifactorial. Yeah, if you're talking about if we're talking about just birth rates as a whole and not the replacement theory, although that's weird that she used that word. That's why I brought that up, because, you know, a lot of them like to be proximity. Anyways, especially Cash Patel. Anyways, if we're talking about birth rates as a whole in the United States, they're down just because of the economy. The price of everything has gone up due to inflation, but wages are not going up. Nobody can afford, I don't want to say nobody, but a lot of millennials, most millennials and Gen Z cannot afford homes. I can recognize that I am in a place of privilege. I am doing better than most people, but I also am able to recognize most people are just scraping by. That is why birth rates are down. Because people can't afford fucking kids and they probably view it as irresponsible. How the fuck can you relax and make a baby if you can't even fucking relax? What are we talking about? And you know the funny thing about this too? Yeah, we talking politics today. You know the funny thing about this shit too is she and the people she works with are part of the fucking problem. Stop talking about AI. Fucking Microsoft is not one of the most powerful companies in the US. They're one of the most powerful companies in the world. Pay your fucking employees, bruh. Pay your fucking employees. This nigga Trump fucking everything up. They ain't getting hurt that damn bad. Talk your shit. Microsoft stock has been steady for the last 20, 30 years, bruh. Give people a pay raise if you want them to have kids. Since you care so much what my dick is doing, why don't you give people a raise? Since you worried about everybody else coochie but your own, why don't you give people a fucking pay raise? It's really that simple. ChatGPT is not the answer. Pay me. Stop talking about this shit. This shit is weird, bruh. This shit is fucking weird. So she don't play games. She's weird. What else we talking about? Oh, they pulling other clips on her too. So she promised no AI slop. But in this clip, new Xbox CEO says every application will become an AI application after promising no AI slop. Here we go.
That's okay. No, I mean, I think that...
Somebody in the chat said we need to be worried about reading rates, not birth. No, that's, hey, you get one, nigga. Facts. Shout out to MJ Davis in the chat. You need to be worried about them fucking reading rates, nigga. Not no goddamn birth rates. Last thing we need is a bunch of illiterate people making fucking babies, because then the cycle repeats itself. Like, what are we talking about?
We just need to imagine the world as every application becoming an AI application. I would say think at a much bigger scale than what we have before. That's okay. No, I mean, I think that we just need to imagine the world as every application becoming an AI application. I love it.
She wants to see a world where everything becomes an AI application. I think the thing that I hate the most about AI, it does have some use, but like the way they're hyping it is, it's suffocating, you know? It's just fucking suffocating. They're talking about, and I don't know if it's like delusions of grandeur, but like they're talking about AI as if like they invented the car. Like imagine being in a world where like you were born into a world where like horses and buggies was the thing, and then the car comes out like during your adult years, like your young adult years, and just seeing the world completely change. Like that's the way she's like, this shit is not it, dude. Like what the fuck? And if it is, nigga, I don't want that shit. Cause then we talk about Ultron. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. Cause let me tell y'all something. For those who don't read the comic books, if you've seen Avengers, The Age of Ultron, that nigga Ultron in the comic books is 1,000 times worse. 1,000. That nigga was almost relatable in the fucking movie. Yeah, some Skynet shit. We don't want Brainiac. I'm good off that shit, bruh. iRobot, I'm good off that, man. Jesus Christ. What else we got? More juicy details. According to, and this is what I was alluding to earlier, according to Greg Miller from Kinda Funny Games, he heard that Phil Spencer's retirement wasn't planned at all, and he has information to support it, but he won't read it on air. Translation, he's got a really reliable source, but if he gives any type of hint or where it came from, it'll probably get both of them in trouble. So that's what I was hinting at earlier. So Phil didn't actually retire. He's saying Microsoft fired his ass. And I'd imagine Sarah probably followed right after. Shout out to DEI Samurai with the $10 super chat, saying Ultron was on the internet for 5 minutes and said humanity had to go. Real shit, bruh. Other news in regards to Xbox. Shout out to Spinks with the sub, appreciate it. Exclusive sources. Take this with a grain of salt because I don't know what his sources are, and I'm not familiar with this person. Let's see, the Ghost of Hope. Who's this? Is he a writer? He's a Call of Duty leaker. Take it with a grain of salt. Sources indicate to me that the delay on the next Xbox has hurt a lot of Call of Duty's marketing plans, as they wanted Modern Warfare 4 to be the launch title and it draw a lot of hype to compete with people's attention alongside GTA 6. And I'm here to let you know, if none of this drama was going on with Xbox, with Phil and Sarah, that wouldn't have changed the trajectory of Modern Warfare 4. It would have not competed with GTA 6. Whoever thought, this is what I'm talking about when I say these suits are out of touch. GTA 6 is a juggernaut in its own, and you're not stopping the juggernaut once it starts moving, okay? Modern Warfare 4 is not that important. Let me guess, it's like the last three. Just a little bit more modern. Because of this delay, the idea of 2 Call of Duty games launching with the next Xbox has been floated. A traditional Call of Duty multiplayer and a standalone zombies title presumably developed by Treyarch, likely similar to that of an Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare Remaster were both released together. Microsoft wants Activision to be more agile and less attached to annualized franchises in the future. The consensus is that a more quick and coherent product development pipeline would have allowed them to cash in on the extraction shooter hype sooner with a DMZ update, for example. I'm confused. I feel like these two sentences contradict each other. This is why I said take the stuff with a grain of salt. Let me reread this. Microsoft wants Activision to be more agile and less attached to annualized releases in the future. First of all, this sentence in itself is a contradiction. Reason being is, in order to be more agile, meaning put out more products faster, you have to have a lot of systems in place, and you also need to know what you're making ahead of time. But then right here, it says they want them to be less attached to annualized releases. Well, part of the reason Activision is able to be agile is because we know Call of Duty is coming out every year. If they want them to make more original games, that's not how creativity works. And this kind of proves my point when I say these suits are not reliable. I don't think this guy's reliable. I don't think he is either. So take this shit with a super grid. This sentence makes no fucking sense. You can't just make a masterpiece, a new IP and a masterpiece every day. That doesn't make any sense. The consensus is that a more quick and coherent product development pipeline would have allowed them to cash in on the extraction hype shooter with a DMZ update, for example. And then it's doubling down more on Call of Duty. Call of Duty already denied that rumor. You got a link to that? Who got the link? Send the link, read the link. I think they mean live service updates, but I don't know. Maybe, yeah, maybe then how he worded it is weird then. If it's just in regards to updates. That guy is not Charlie Intel. That guy's not Charlie Intel. Oh, you got it? Good luck. Make sure we're not spreading misinformation. Ooh. The rumor factory's working overtime, ain't it? I said, get off my dick, bro. Okay. All right, shout out to y'all for the link. I appreciate that. All right, well, scrap what he said. All right, forget everything I just said. Doesn't matter. This man's spreading misinformation. Doesn't matter. I appreciate the link. That's fucking funny, bro. They never provide sources. Well, that's why anytime because like, to be fair, like I just be scrolling on my phone looking for things to talk about. But if it's not a reliable source, I always say that. Like, hey, I always make sure, even though maybe it doesn't, people might not hear it, but I always make sure to say it, take it with a grain of salt. In other news, Xbox co-creator thinks the new CEO is there just to sunset the brand? We're in the age of misinformation. Seamus? I feel like I gotta say pause after saying your name. Seamus Blackley believes the recent changes in Microsoft gaming are intended to sunset the Xbox brand. Seamus Blackley was a developer who helped create the original Xbox, which launched 25 years ago. In the last quarter century, the Xbox brand has reached the heights and fallen quite far from the perch. Recently, Microsoft's gaming underwent a massive restructuring, with Phil retiring and Asher Swarmer becoming the new CEO. Now, Blackley is speaking out about why he believes this move will ultimately spell the end of the Xbox brand. I think it's pronounced Seamus. Is that what it is? Because in my brain, I see Seamus. semen or something. Anyways, in an interview with GamesBeat, Blackley explained that he believes many Microsoft businesses that aren't related to the core AI business, the department that Sharma worked at previously, are being sunsetted. As such, he believes that Sharma's role is to move the Xbox brand out of that picture. Xbox, like a lot of businesses that aren't the core AI business, is being sunset, he said. They don't say that, but that's what's happening. I expect that new CEO, Asher Sharma, her job is going to be as a, how do you pronounce that? I get it in the context, but I don't know how to pronounce that shit. Palliative definition.
Palliative.
Yo, nigga was mad palliative. Is going to be as palliative care doctor who slides Xbox gently into the night. It just seems really true. So he said they're gonna put it in slow. They're not gonna fuck us fast. Publicly, Sharma, who officially assumed her duties today after the announcement on Friday, yeah, he used SAT words, February 20th, has touted a rebirth of the Xbox brand. She claims that she's focusing on revitalizing the brand and recommending to core Xbox players. A social media account tied to her as even being hearing out fan suggestions, including a return to console exclusive games. Keep in mind, what he's saying is just a guess. He doesn't work for Xbox anymore. But what I will say is I'm not going to rule this out. I could see this. Sunsetting means that, if you're not following, they're not going to get rid of Xbox right away, but like over the next 10 years. Like the next Xbox console could be the last one if it doesn't perform like next level, basically. And they'll just slowly start removing features, slowly start removing third-party support, and the next thing you know, they're saying, oh, we're going full third-party, or we're just going to get rid of it altogether. And the reason why I'm saying I'm giving merit to what he's saying, I think it's possible. Why else would you hire somebody who was head of the AI department for a gaming company? She seems, whether she knows it or not, she seems like the perfect scapegoat. Xbox didn't work, man. We tried all these cool things, knowing damn well the higher ups at Microsoft know that no gamer wants all this AI shit. They know what she's gonna do. She's gonna fuck up the brand even more. And then it's gonna be the perfect excuse to write it off on their taxes and just get rid of the Xbox division. I can see this. Does that mean it's gonna happen? No, still hoping for the best, but we can't rule out this timeline. We cannot rule out this timeline. Valve's Steam Machine is stepping up his comp for Sony, stepping up his comp for everybody. Hell nah, anyone make a console to compete with Sony. Please, Apple, somebody. Well, no, we don't want an Apple console because I'm sure it would be good, but it'd be overpriced. Apple's console will use tech from 10 years ago and charge you fucking $2,000 for that shit. If they do sunset Xbox, what do you think happens to their IPs? Oh, they sell them. I mean, they already given them away. They're already giving away to PlayStation and shit. They sell them or something. The studios, I don't know. Shout out to John with the super chat. He said Microsoft's been trying to get rid of Xbox since the Xbox One. They try to transform it into an entertainment system. Yeah, you got to look at it from Microsoft's standpoint. Microsoft is one of the most powerful companies in the world. It's a Fortune 500. Windows is damn near on every machine. Despite what Linux niggas say, Linux is coming, it's coming. Despite what Linux niggas say, Linux has not even penetrated more than like 1% of the market. 99% of PCs are still on Windows, and most people do not own Macs. Somebody, a Linux fan, don't fucking say that, nigga. Linux is next. Watch out. It's easier to install now. Anyways, so the reality is they print money hand over fist without even trying. They've monopolized the PC market. So I would imagine if you're an executive at Microsoft and you want to make more money, they're probably looking at ways they could trim the fat. They have this gaming division that costs a lot of money. Because keep in mind, to make a console, that's a lot of research and development. That's a lot of R&D. You got to hire people to research and develop where the market's going, create ways to make sure the product stays cool, especially at the red ring of death. Pick out proper level of tech that advances the tech, but it's not too expensive for people to not be able to afford staying within that console market. That's all R&D. Then you got to mass produce the shit. That's expensive. You got to mass ship it. That's expensive. You got to market it. That's expensive. And they're not making any money. Oh my Lord. And to make matters worse, they took on a lot of debt in the last 15 years, buying all these studios and doing nothing with them, damn near. I feel like we should have had like 15 different Hi-Fi Rushes by now. Not specifically like sequels to Hi-Fi Rush, but like creative cool games. Bought all these studios just to make Call of Duty. That's why I said I don't like that Sarah Bond hit piece. These niggas paid, how much did they pay? How much? What did Xbox pay for Activision? They paid almost $80 billion to do nothing but put Call of Duty out. Why? Why? If that's all you wanted to do, right? You know what I would have did if I was Phil Spencer? If you wanted to bring Call of Duty to the Game Pass, why not go to Activision and say how much for that IP? So instead of spending $80 billion, you could have spent maybe 5 or 10 billion, just got the Call of Duty IP and recoup that money within like 2 years probably, because Call of Duty generates a ton of money. But Activision is... Activision games. I'm pretty sure Activision would have been open to selling it. They sold the whole goddamn studio. What other games they make? I know they got Crash and Spyro, right? They got Tony Hawk. Call of Duty. Where's all their legacy titles at? I know Prototype. I was gonna say they got Prototype. They got Skylanders. But you said WoW, Diablo. Yeah, they got Diablo. They got Overwatch because keep in mind Blizzard is under Activision. That's an umbrella under Activision. They could have did something with the Overwatch. They got Tenchu. I should go to their wiki. Like, what other games that Activision's most successful games, best-selling games. They got Diablo. They got StarCraft. Which means also they have everything that's under that. So they would also have the card game. What was that shit called? Damn, I wish there was an actual proper list. Tenchu was licensed. Okay. But the point being, you get the point. They have a lot of IPs. Hearthstone. Yeah, they have Hearthstone. They have a lot of IPs and they did nothing with them. All they did was put out Call of Duty on the Game Pass since they paid $80 billion for that shit. That is what we should be talking about. Why did you do that, Phil? And I hope 10 years down the road we find out. I would love an interview like, what? Yo, like, Phil, be for real. You know, we're past the statute of limitation. What the fuck were you thinking, dude? Why did you pay $80 billion for Call of Duty? That's insane. Fucking, and then on top of that, right? They bought all this talent on board, right? Why not let them make original games? You got between Bethesda and Activision, you have some of the most talented developers in the game. If you didn't want to tap into your old IPs, make some new ones. You know what I mean? Not like, cause not what he did isn't illegal, but when I say like the statutes of limitation, I mean like people aren't emotionally, like right now emotions are high. So I don't think that nigga should do any, like, yo, Phil, just keep your head down for the next 2 years. Go on vacation. Don't do no podcasts. Because whatever podcast you do, it don't matter what you say, it is going to piss people off and it's going to be bad PR for Xbox. But like 5-10 years down the road when emotions aren't high anymore and it's more of just kind of like a memory, then he could maybe start talking about it. Kind of the way that Reggie from Nintendo is. Bobby Kotick blackmailed Phil Spencer or something. I don't know, man. I don't fucking know, but they got the talent. Other news. Xbox founder says the new CEO should quit today if she's not passionate about gaming. Microsoft's gaming has a new CEO. At the top boss for the company's gaming team, the founder of Xbox. Oh, this must have been the same interview, just a different quote. So speaking of GamesBeat, Blackley pointed out that Microsoft's massive bet on AI is unprecedented in terms of the money Microsoft is investing in the company's vision for an AI-powered future. That's not the same as Sega deciding how to gracefully go out of business. This is a company that's trying to recontextualize the way we think about technology entirely. They've decided that the lever point that's going to do that is generative AI tools. They're looking to fit everything into a generative AI model, he said. He added that Xbox is going to be sunsetted because it's not the core to Microsoft's vision going forward, at least not in its current setup. They don't say that. Yeah, we already got that, but I want to know what the fuck he was talking about. Blackie went on to say the situation is like when someone has a hammer and then everyone looks like a nail. He said, this is how Microsoft's CEO, Satya Nadella, is seeing the world these days, given the company's massive investment in AI, including the respect to the gaming. Shout out to Black Wizard with the sub. Appreciate you. Everything is a Gen AI problem. Games, of course, are a Gen AI problem. I disagree. This is why I say this makes perfect sense. If you're Satya, you have a hammer called Gen AI, and every single problem is a nail. I see what he's saying. He's saying the CEO of Microsoft is one-minded. is one-track minded. They're a hammer and everything is a nail. When in reality, some things are screws. You see what I'm saying? Like he's saying everything doesn't require a hammer, but the CEO is the actual problem. They believe it does. Instead of treating Xbox as its own thing with its own, single-minded, its own problems to handle. Okay, so who do you put in charge of games? A games person? No, because in the world of SATA, everything is a Gen AI problem. So he's saying the problem needs a wrench, but all they have is a hammer. So you put a Gen AI person in charge of games with a training model with boot camps for her to train her like you train an AI model to bring Gen AI into position to revolutionize games. I don't think it's gonna revolutionize shit. In Gen Z terms, she's a one-trick pony. That's not a Gen Z term, but yeah, basically. Yeah, Gen Z swears they invented everything. The one-trick pony is not a Gen Z term. That's fucking funny. That is an old-ass term. He said, I tried. I was just trying to be relatable. Yeah, AI-minded. Man, I hope he's wrong. I hope this is not true. Because this is going to be bad. Xbox needs consolidation more than anything. Bring these studios together and make great things, not do the same thing and expect profit. Yeah. Like, downscale in terms of the scale. Everything doesn't need to be a live service game. Make smaller, more cheaper, experimental games. Also, maybe it'll be a little bit more hands-on. Because I think if they were a little bit more hands-on with their game studios, we wouldn't have gotten to Redfall. And that's why I said I don't like that article that came out this morning talking about Sarah, because it takes away from the conversation. We should be talking about how the fuck did you pay? Because how much did they pay for Bethesda? How much did Xbox pay for Bethesda? They paid $10 billion for Bethesda. That's actually crazy when I think about it. They paid almost $80 billion for Activision, but only $10 billion for Bethesda. And as much as it pains me to say, Bethesda's games are way better than Activision's. All Activision had was Call of Duty. Everything else is pretty much dormant. They hella overpaid for that. So I can't even be mad at this purchase. I think they hella overpaid for Activision, man. But going back to what I was saying, that hit piece takes away from the conversation of how the fuck did you pay almost $11 billion for Bethesda and we got Redfall? What happened? What the fuck happened? That game is so forgettable. A lot of you probably don't even remember that shit. That glitchy ass vampire hunter game. Y'all better not fuck up Blade, man. Why did they buy Activision and not do something with their old IPs? I don't know. They could have easily, at bare minimum, they could have easily just re-released all of Activision's old IPs on the Game Pass. You had access to them, just put it on the Game Pass as extra value. Give us Prototype 1 and 2 for free on the Game Pass. Give us Spyro and all that other shit that you have. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Like Pitfall? Yeah, you definitely just showed your age with that one. That was fucking crazy. I feel like I'm probably the only one. I showed my age there. I'm probably one of the only ones that got that joke that you just made. This nigga said Pitfall. I forget that is an Activision game, ain't it? I think that was their first video game. You're making too much sense. Yeah, I believe this was their first video game. Pitfall for the Atari 2600 or some shit, bro. Yeah, that's what niggas want on the Game Pass. Pitfall. That's fucking. This game is whatever. I mean, to our parents, this shit was great, but you know, oh shit, you can play it in the web. Oh god, we play Pitfall stream. What's up, guys? Welcome to the world's first Pitfall stream. We're on the Xbox. We're on the Xbox Game Pass. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. To your mom and dad, this shit was great. Like you had to be there for Pitfall. Niggas got on the vine, started jumping like Tarzan. Nigga, this shit is a classic. This is a classic to somebody, bro. He said old heads. Nah, I don't think this would have increased the Game Pass sales, especially because I didn't even know you could play it in the web browser. You could deadass play that shit in the web browser. You could deadass play that shit in the web browser. We're not paying $30 a month to play that shit, dog. That's fucking funny, man. What else I got for you? This is from that same Ghost of Hope dude. I'm not saying Phil or Bond were perfect, but this is a certified hit piece on a Monday morning to change the narratives from over the weekend. I would agree with that. I think people are going to see that Phil and likely even Bond were stopping a lot more layoffs and AI integration from happening with Xbox. That's his his conspiracy. Now, I'm not saying this is happening, but I wouldn't be shocked. The only problem with this narrative is if it comes out later down the road, like Phil does a podcast or Sarah, and they reveal that they were trying to stop layoffs, it doesn't paint them as like a, because I feel like with this tweet, he's trying to paint them as heroes. And this is why I said they're not perfect. If it comes out, this is actually the storyline, they're still not heroes, because at the end of the day, although they were trying to stop the layoffs, you were the reason for the layoffs. In retrospect, I think they paid way too much money for Activision. So like, I get what he's trying to do there, but like, it doesn't, they were part of the blame. They're part of the blame. Let's not get it twisted. Let's not get it twisted. What other news I got? Xbox's Matt Booty says no organizational changes are coming after the big shakeup. Matt Booty, who just got promoted to the executive vice president, so I think he's taking Sarah Bond's place. So the shawarma chick is number one, and then he's number two. And chief content officer at Xbox has signaled in a memo that the recent upheaval at Xbox may not lead to any layoffs at the company's collection of nearly 40 game development studios. Did I say shawarma? My bad. What's her name? My bad. I didn't mean it like that. Everybody shut up. He said in his memo, to be clear, y'all know I can't talk. There are no organizational changes underway for our studios, man. Everybody shut the fuck up, man. I can't talk. The new CEO, Asha Sharma, see, I knew what I was doing, comes from a background in AI, prompting fears by some that further investment in the technology at Microsoft Studio could result in layoffs. This isn't happening, at least for now, but the Xbox Game Studio family has faced challenging times. Yeah, what's this industry analyst saying? Industry analyst Dr. Sarkin believes Microsoft will run through their Xbox business with a bulldozer this year, in the wake of Sharma taking over as the new CEO. For the same Xbox employees, I hope I'm wrong, he said. I wonder if that actually will happen. Like in the next year, they just start firing mass people. I'll tell you what, if his prediction is correct, that would deadass be the end of Xbox. Like, imagine they fire half their staff and they say, we're going to start making AI generated games. You guys said you want a new Crash Bandicoot? We just threw it in ChatGPT. ChatGPT, program a spinning, what is that nigga? What is he, a wombat or some shit? Program a spinning wombat with some Chuck Tays on and a mask that goes Udamaga. Level 1 should be underwater. He's a fucking bandicoot, whatever the fuck he is. A rat. That nigga like a rat to me. I don't like him. Is his name really Booty? Yeah, his name's really Booty. Yeah, that's if they really try to do that and just AI generate games, boy, we will be watching the fast track to hell for Xbox. We will be watching the fast track to hell. We might just act like it don't even exist on the podcast. Like, I don't even want to talk about this shit. This is bad news, man. This is bad fucking news. Have you seen the problems with WWE 2K6's DLC? They changed the DLC release to where you pay for a battle pass and unlock the wrestlers behind the tiers. I have a tweet I can share. Nah, I don't need to share it. You sound shocked, bro. It's 2K. I told y'all niggas that shit was gonna happen. The day, what was it, last year when they introduced the island in WWE? I said, oh, this game's about to go downhill. They're literally going to follow the game plan with NBA 2K. They're gonna, every year the game's gonna get more expensive. The VC's gonna cost more. They're gonna lock wrestlers behind the battle pass. They're gonna start locking outfits and shit, like your favorite thongs and baby oil to put on your favorite wrestlers and shit. They're gonna lock it behind the $20 premium pass. They might give you a free squirt of oil like every 20 levels on the free pass, but if you want a whole bottle of baby oil for your wrestler, you're gonna have to get the premium pass. That's because the reality is that Ronnie 2K needs a new wig. I wish I would have saved that video. Somebody tweeted me a video of Ronnie 2K. I wonder if I scroll down if I can find it. That nigga's wig looks terrible, dude. Hold on, let me see. Let's see, mentions. Who got that video? It was some content creator. They mistaken him for Shams. And he was like, I'm not shams. He's like, it's only 2 Indian people here. He's like, that's racist. It was at the All-Star game. You got the link to that video? I was like, yeah, because y'all think I'd be making jokes about this nigga be buying wigs and shit. Like, with your fucking VC money. Oh, man, I can't find it. I'm scrolling. I can't find that shit. I be getting too many fucking tweets. It's hard to keep up with shit. I should have saved that shit. That should have me cracking up, bro. That was Gerald Houston. Was it? Is that on Twitter or something? Oh, it's a content creator. Oh, let me see. Gerald Houston. His IG. So it should probably be on there then. Let's see. I broke the 2K cycle. Free yourself. Free yourself. Is this the guy? Is this the video right here? Oh, there it is. We found it, chat. Hold on. All right. Because people be swear I just be making jokes and being like an asshole. Guys, this is why the price of NBA 2K keeps going up. Ronnie 2K needs at least 10 new wigs a day. Look at this nigga's hairpiece. It's fucking disgusting.
God knew that was you, bro. Shams. It's Shams, bro.
Where's Shams?
You Shams.
Where?
What up? It's Shams, bro. What's going on,
That's
man?
some racist shit.
Huh?
Racist shit.
You ain't Shams?
I'm not
You don't
shit.
be reporting all the trades and stuff?
That's not me.
Oh,
There
you
are
ain't
3
Shams?
Indian guys in the NBA. They're all in the building, but I'm not sure.
You can see the glue on his lace front, bro. You can see
Oh,
it.
you're not Shams? I thought that was Shams, bro. I'm tripping like a motherfucker. Oh, my God.
Shout out to Shams, bro. I hope that becomes a joke when people see him in real life. Shams, is that you? He got the Tyler Perry wig. Yeah, so like keep that in mind when you making your 20th build, about to put $100 of VC on that build. Keep in mind he's about to buy a new lace front. He got to get the Gorilla. He got the regular Elmer's glue for the hairpiece, but he about to get the Gorilla glue for that shit. Yeah, Ronnie's toupee. Ronnie's toupee.